What's happening, fam? L.A.R. movement still moving. Book is entitled Lessons from a Non-Custodial Father at Amazon, Kindle, and Create Space. Link will be in the description box below as usual. Go get it. PayPal link there also. They asked me to put it up, so I put it up. Thanks everybody for supporting. I really do mean that. This video is entitled Choosing to be a Gentleman. I'm using an old dictionary. Gentleman, definition 1, a man of good family and high social standings. Definition 2, a courteous, gracious, and honorable man. Definition 3, any man, a polite term, a form of addressing, of addressing somebody. So I'm more so on the second definition about being courteous and honorable. You choose to be courteous and honorable. A lot of times people think guys are simping, and there's a difference between a gentleman and a simp. And some guys have chosen to be honorable men and courteous men. And so that doesn't matter if the person who's responding, who they're being courteous to or honorable to, maybe they're not a courteous person or honorable person. So what they do may lack integrity. But when you choose to be a gentleman, you choose not to lack integrity, even though. So that's the difference. Like, you choose to be a gentleman in the way you present yourself. You choose to be a gentleman in the way you interact with people and adversity. Being a gentleman isn't just always about the way you dress per se, but more so about the way that you carry yourself. And you can be a gentleman and also, how can I say this? Be a warrior. But the etiquette part is most important. You don't have to be a warrior all the time. You can be a gentleman the vast majority of the time, and then when it's time to be a warrior, you just jump in there. Yeah, I'm a warrior. Bam. Let's get it cracking. Let's see what it is. And a lot of times, if you notice, people who are in combat sports or soldiers or people who are in contact sports, there are a lot of guys who you'll see as have very eccentric personalities. And then you see people who are very reserved and very gentlemanlike. But normally, even the people with the edge have a sense of honor to them. Even the people who are eccentric have a sense of honor to them, a sense of manners and courteous. People are not just wild and rogue and rebellious. I know you see some people like that, but the vast majority of these guys are not. They chose to be gentlemen, to conduct themselves in a certain manner, because you're going to have to conduct yourself in a certain manner to get things done and to get a certain reputation of respect, because you're given respect everywhere you go. So I'm making this video to say, sometimes you choose to be a gentleman. You can see somebody's, and I like comics, right? Superman chooses to be a gentleman. Superman could do a whole lot of stuff. Like, I think a lot of the DC heroes, because I talked about DC versus Marvel a long time ago, and I thought DC was better as a brand in totality. You get what I'm saying? Because they had better villains. I based my thing on the villains in the comics and the storylines. But their storylines were better because they had better villains. But this is what makes their heroes a bit more stoic, because their heroes are gentlemen. Their heroes can completely, viciously and murderously kill every villain in DC with no problems because of their skill set and their power set. They keep doing the honorable thing, even though, in my opinion, it's stupid. Just get rid of Lex Luthor, man. Just get rid of the Joker, man. Just get Sinestro. Let him go. Get rid of Darkseid. Get rid of this fool, man. Stop playing these games, man. But Wonder Woman needs to get rid of what is the Ares. Just get going. Just get rid of him. You know what I'm saying? Shazam, Black Adam, let him go. But this honorable nature of I'm still going to do the right thing, even though it's not the logical thing. It's the moral thing to do, but it's not logically sound. You can make the argument that the moral thing to do would be to kill the villains and then be at peace. And but it's you kill one, they say 2 or 3 pop up, and now you're going on a murder spree of every villain that shows up, and it makes you look like a murderer. I get the premise, right? But I'm using the premise to look at honor, because some of these guys are interacting with society, which is not honorable, and society think that it's winning by being unethical to gentlemen, and because you're unethical with gentlemen, and because you're lying, cheating, and stealing with gentlemen, and they conduct themselves in a certain manner, even though they're stupid and they're suckers. But normally, gentlemen are smart enough and strong enough to be able to either take a loss or turn a negative into a positive, or circumvent a loss and wind up winning in the end. Like, a lot of these people have these short-term mindsets and these short-term memories for, I won today. They like winning battles, but gentlemen don't plan for a battle. They plan for wars. You can win a battle here and there, but you will ultimately lose the war because you're not thinking about winning the war. You started a war, but you're thinking about winning battles. Gentlemen look at the war. This is what it's going to take to end the war, to win the war. I need this, and this. All these other little battles that give you confidence, that's nice. But the things that's most important, I'm going to take that right off the board. And when it comes to interacting with the opposite sex, there's a lot of guys who got played. There's a lot of guys who've gotten divorced. There's a lot of guys who've gotten their children taken away. And there's a certain amount of anger and rage towards that. But when you handle it like a gentleman, as time goes on, the same thing that made you cry is going to make you laugh. The same thing that made that was looked at a weakness became a strength. And then the reverse for the other people. The same thing that made them laugh made them cry. And the same thing that they thought was a strength made them weak in the end. Because you carried yourself in such a great way. When you take people out on dates and they have an issue with, and they want to use you, and you figure it out, this is what we doing, no problem. You just don't take them out no more. They'll never see you again, because here's the thing about being a gentleman, about being a courteous person, about being an honorable person. You don't run into gentlemen in society that often. You don't run into a good man that often. You don't run into a courteous man that often, right? And what I mean by that is a man who made a conscious decision to be a good man, a courteous man, an honorable man on a regular basis. And you can tell this is who this person is, regardless of the situation, because they chose to be this way. They've groomed themselves to be this way, regardless of the people and the circumstances and the entities that they come in contact with. So now, I'm saying you choose to be a gentleman because that's the thing about a gentleman entering, you're going to stand out. And a gentleman leaving, you're going to be missed. See, a lot of people miss the very gentleman that they thought they was using. A lot of people want their kids to be the very gentleman that they thought they could play. A lot of people want a gentleman to come along so they can treat that gentleman in the way that they should have treated the gentleman that they curved. and they sitting in a long waiting room of a lot of other people who like, I wish somebody like that would come back into my life. Because gentlemen normally don't stick around ingrates. You can choose to be a gentleman, but you're not choosing to be a fool. You know, that's the difference. So I'm done with this one. Like, share, subscribe. Catch y'all on the next one. Peace.